Hey, Bugtista here. This is my draft analysis as the coach of the Bugtista Butterfrees for the Victory Draft League, the VDL. This is a VGC draft league, so we will be playing doubles. For my main draft strategy, I decided to do what I would describe as most likely a bad idea, which is to draft a monotype team. I decided to go with this because I love making monotype teams. I frequently do this in a normal playthrough of a game, and since Sword and Shield came out, I've also tried my best to make it to Master Ball with a monotype team each month. I considered multiple different types. For example, one of the types I started off with was water. The main reason behind water was because it has a lot of inherent synergy with rain. It has some very powerful Pokemon, and in addition to that, water has some Pokemon that have immunities to the two weaknesses, which is electric and grass. For example, Swampert, being a water ground, is immune to electric, and Azumarill, having the ability Sap Sipper, gives it an immunity to grass. So this definitely was tempting, but in the end, being named the Bugtista Butterfrees kind of incentivized me to go with bugs. The main two reasons I selected bugs is firstly, bug is my favorite typing. Secondly, many people don't draft bugs particularly high in a draft setting, and therefore I think you're pretty close to be able to get an optimal bug team in a draft setting because a lot of them will be, thrown aside. Some big difficulties with a bug team is the shared weakness in rock, fire, and flying, which most Pokemon on the team will have. In addition to that, there are no bug Pokemon with the move Fake Out, and there are no bug Pokemon with the ability Prankster. These are some really relevant things in VGC historically. In addition to that, there are only two Pokemon that can learn Redirection that are bugs, and only two Pokemon that can learn Trick Room that are bugs. In addition to this, based on the construction of this tier list in the VDL, there's exactly one bug Pokemon in Tier 1, and there's only 4 Tier 2 bug Pokemon. This means that I need to value those Tier 1 and Tier 2 Pokemon really high, where otherwise I could have picked them up very late. Because if I don't get them, there's a chance that I might not be able to get only bugs on my draft team. So on that note, my first pick was Pheromosa. I'm pretty sure I could have gotten Pheromosa as my second, third, maybe even my last pick. But if anyone else would have taken it from me, then I would literally have no way to have exclusively bugs on my team. So I decided to not take the risk and start with Pheromosa as my first pick. Despite that, I think Pheromosa is a very good Pokemon. It is the third fastest Pokemon in the game. The only Pokemon faster than it are Ninjask and Regieleki. In addition to that, it has some very good support moves like Coaching, which boosts your allies' attack and defense. It has Speed Swap, Electro Web, and Icy Wind for some form of speed control. In addition to that, it has some very good stats in its attack and special attack. The main downside with it is that it's quite frail, so I most likely am forced to kind of hold it with a Focus Sash. But despite that, it has some good benefits. After that pick, I decided to focus on my Tier 2s. Based on the draft system, I wanted to get 3 Tier 2 Pokemon. And since there are only 4 Tier 2 bugs, I valued Tier 2s highly and drafted them early. So my next pick was Escavalier. I would consider one of the nice things about Escavalier is that I would consider it maybe the best, if not maybe the second best Trick Room sweeper in the entirety of the Tier 2. It only has one weakness, which is a weakness to fire. It's very good attack and very good bulk, and it's slower than many other Trick Room sweepers because of its base 20 speed stat. In addition to that, it also has 2 good abilities in Battle Armor, and which prevents crits, and Overcoat, which prevents powder moves such as Rage Powder and Sleep Powder. Also, with Pheromosa getting Speed Swap, I can also use Escavalier outside of Trick Room and give it the speed of Pheromosa. So from there, I decided to go with Volcarona. I'm not sure if I would have picked Volcarona as early as I did, but right before this pick, another person selected Butterfree. The only bug Pokemon that have redirection are Butterfree and Volcarona, in which they both learn Rage Powder. So if anyone selected Volcarona, then my team would have no direction. And with no fake out, because no bug Pokemon learn fake out, I'd feel like my team would be at a big disadvantage. So outside of Rage Powder, Volcarona is quite good. It learns support moves like Will-O-Wisp, Struggle Bug, String Shot, and Mystical Fire. It also has a reasonably fast speed tier. It has very good special attacks, so it can be a sweeper in addition to its abilities of being a support Pokemon. Also, its fire typing gives me a Pokemon that doesn't take super effective damage from fire moves. So from there, I decided to finish up my Tier 2 Pokemon. I chose to select Durant. Durant is very straightforward. It's fast with a high attack stat. It is frequently going to be a Dynamax threat because of its ability Hustle, lowering its accuracy. I chose to select Durant early because there are only 4 Tier 2 bug Pokemon, and the only one remaining would be Buzzwole. And I don't particularly like Buzzwole. I would consider it a very big downgrade from Durant. After getting from there, I decided to go with my next pick. You can see that I have 3 very fast Pokemon in Durant, Volcarona, and Pheromosa, and 1 slow Pokemon. So I decided to go with finishing up my Trick Room Sweepers by getting Vikavolt. Vikavolt has a very good typing, which gives me an additional Pokemon that is not weak to flying. In addition, it has an incredible special attack, and it is a pretty good Trick Room speed at 43. Not great. I think this may have been a mistake to select this pick, because I now have 2 Trick Room Sweepers in Vikavolt and Escavalier, but no way to set up Trick Room. And my next pick, I was planning on drafting Orbeetle. This is one of the 2 Trick Room setters for bugs, and is clearly the best among the 2. However, another person happened to pick Orbeetle before I was able to select it. So I was first to go with my backup Trick Room sweater, which is Dottler. Dottler is the middle evolution of Orbeetle. It is very bulky while holding Eviolite. However, Orbeetle is just as bulky as Dottler holding an Eviolite. So that means Orbeetle is able to hold an item while having the same bulk as Dottler. This is definitely a downgrade from Orbeetle that I wanted, but Dottler is very good nonetheless. It lets me set up Trick Room, which is very important because of my 2 Trick Room Sweepers. It has Light Screen and Reflect, and has some other support moves. My next pick, I wanted to pick another bug that didn't have a fire weakness, because currently my team has 5 fire weaknesses, with 2 of them being 4 times the weaknesses. Right before my next pick, someone selected Arachnid. This is the only Pokemon that has a fire resistance due to its ability Water Bubble. However, this is still there's still one additional water bug, so I decided to pick up Golisopod. I may have selected this too highly, but I valued having a water bug, and it was the only remaining one. In addition to this, Golisopod has great attack and defense, and it learns many priority moves like Aqua Jet, Sucker Punch, and First Impression. In addition to it, its 45 base speed allows it to function pretty well inside a Trick Room, and its priority lets it function pretty well outside of Trick Room. Golisopod has a strange ability called Emergency Exit, which forces it to withdraw when it takes damage when it goes below 50%. This makes it a poor Dynamax threat, but frequently the free switch-in can be used to my benefit. So my next pick from here, I decided to go with Galvantula. So Galvantula is a Tier 3, and it's an electric bug, which is also neutral to flying, which, like I said, is helpful. Galvantula gets good speed control with Electro Web and String Shot. It has a very good speed stat and reasonable special attack. And it can do some good damage to flying type Pokemon, who can be hard for the rest of my team to deal with. So now, at this point, everyone has selected 8 Pokemon in this draft so far, and there are only 2 remaining Pokemon in Tier 3. So I decided I wanted to finish up and get the Tier 3. So the only 2 remaining Pokemon in Tier 3 were Ribombee and Scolipede. I decided to select Ribombee over Scolipede. I believe Ribombee is better than Scolipede, since I believe the fairy typing is better than the poison typing. In addition, Rabompi learns Pollen Puff, which is a very strong damaging move that also lets you heal allied Pokemon. In addition to that, Rabompi learns Speed Swap and Quiverdinge, which allows it to be supportive, or it lets you set up and become a sweeper. So now, from there, my only remaining picks are tier 4s, and so I decided to go on and select Scyther. So Scyther is very nice in that it can be very bulky with an Eviolite, but it doesn't need to hold an Eviolite to be good. It's a good attack, has a good speed, and you can get stab max airstreams. It also has the ability Technician, which makes it a very good non-Dynamax threat. And it also has a ground immunity, in which immunities are just nice. So from there, I go with my final pick, in which I really want a Rock Bug Pokemon. To have damage against fire and flying Pokemon, and I was debating between the two best rock bug Pokemon available, which are Crustle and Armaldo. They have very similar stats, where basically their defense and attack are swapped, and the rest of their stats are the same. And in the end, I decided to go with Crustle. I chose Crustle mainly because it's more versatile. It learns Shell Smash, which allows Crustle to outspeed 130 base speed Pokemon. It learns Wide Guard, which allows it to protect the team from moves like Rock Slide, which do a bunch of damage to my team because I'll have a lot of rock weaknesses. In addition, its 45 base speed allows it to be a reasonable Trick Room Sweeper if it needs to be. But in the end, that is my team. I think my team is pretty good overall. My most disappointing Pokemon that I didn't get was Orbeetle. I would have liked to get Butterfree, but I wasn't expecting him to get it because I wasn't planning on drafting it particularly high. So overall, the team is very good and very close to my ideal bug team. I'm only off by about 2 Pokemon, and hopefully the team does well. Thank you for watching, and I intend on posting every match this season, so if anyone wants to follow me, my matches, they can. Thank you, and